Good afternoon, everyone. This is Brent, the host for Canadians with Disabilities and their Allies, and we're going to have Patricia talking about basic income and how it benefits people in so many ways. So I'm going to, with all said and done, I'm now passing the microphone to Patricia. You are now in the hot seat. Go ahead.
Wow, hot seat. I'm never nervous when it comes to being in the hot seat.
Oh, it's okay. You're all around everybody that knows you here, so you just feel comfortable.
I've been looking a lot online. I've been doing a lot more research because, it's good to have another sort of a fresh perspective on the thing that you're talking about. And it's come up a lot. In fact, just today, one of the things that I was reading about was a dear friend of ours, Brent, posted a blog on the concept of community trust and how we're sort of in short supply of trust within sort of this branch of ours, like this communal branch of ours, how we're low on trust within the community, and how basic income would really play into that. And there's this mechanism we use when we're talking about basic income in lots of various forums about how to pay it out. And something that I notice a lot is when we discuss it, there's always this crushing element of control. And I find it very troubling, because one of the things I'm always looking to get away from, specifically like when I'm writing about it, when I'm thinking about it, when I'm researching it, is how we work to get away from using basic income as just another form of control. We're always looking to use any method we have to help people as just another way to control people. I find it very upsetting when this happens. We use it for basically every mechanism we have, for every targeted program that we have, be it anything, a benefit, a child tax credit, anything that we can in order to supply people with another form of income or a government subsidy. We usually use it as a way to control people and minimize the way they can receive extra support. The research that I have been coming across now more and more is the way that people who want to see basic income supplied is through this sort of minimization. They talk about it in a way where it's either aligned with the poverty line, which is something I've spoken about before, or like in a calibrated sense where people are now still the ones who are like the population is responsible, still somehow in a self-contained way responsible for the use of this basic income. And it's something just frustrating, because it means that we are still not putting the big target on the wealthy. The wealthy are still not the ones who are responsible. It doesn't come down to corporate responsibility. It doesn't come down to redefining wealth classes. We are still, for some reason, looking to poverty classes, to what we would define as the working class, which is just a step sort of between the middle class and the poverty classes. I'm just going to use this term working classes to define that step between what is a poverty class, what is a middle class. And again, the middle class as who is almost always responsible for essentially the monopolization of the economy. And I really, really, really disparage that. And it's frustrating. And when I read this article by a friend, I thought, and it's posted on his WordPress, I thought to myself, he's absolutely right. And the reason for this is because we are never we're always looking for firm ground under our feet. And we aren't able to trust anything because we never are able to account for firm ground under our feet. He used this. This is so funny. I'm getting a notification from him right now. It's hilarious. He used this analogy of a boat heading towards a waterfall, and I thought it was such a perfect analogy, kind of in a cartoonish way. And it was such a perfect scenario because we are always in such a dire strait. We can never trust the thing we're standing on. And that's because we're always being robbed of it. And I think that's something that needs to be extremely, like, it's something that needs to be duly noted. And I think it's important that we acknowledge we are fundamentally and, and we are hitting a stage of our acceptance for basic income. The thing which really bothers me is that we don't look to the people who have the most substantial wealth in order to provide for it. And it's a true concern. For some reason, we are always wanting to be able to control a mass of people who, for some reason, I don't know. And I don't understand why we do this. I don't understand why we're always looking for people to still manage personal conviction under these circumstances. I don't want basic income to come down to another form of control, because it means that people who really need it are people who are going to suffer without it. And when we look at it as an overall circumference, when we're still saying stuff like people who are well off or people who are still able to, receive it, it means that we're unable to accept the fact that this concept of universal basic income means that, the qualifiers they're the wrong way. It's mixed up. All of a sudden we have these qualifiers which are unlimited, and so therefore people who are in constant need have been re-limited. It's so irritating for me. And yeah, that's how I've been reading the situation recently. I wrote a piece quite some time ago called The Colonization of Basic Income, and I read it again. And the reason why I wrote it was because I wanted to make sure that we have a very clear understanding that we need to center the concept of basic income on voices which are almost always neglected. The way we characterize basic income these days, or because it's not evaluated, established thing in society. Like, we just have pilot projects, and that means because they're just test mechanisms. And so because we don't have an established basic income protocol, I mean, in Wales they're working on it, but it's still just relegated to a certain kind of person. Like, it's still quite limiting. We aren't moving forward with anything. And so we're working on it. It's the truth, on the one hand. On the other hand, we are still fundamentally missing the people who need it the most. And for some reason, we can't wrap our heads around the fact that there are people who have been desperately seeking their own personal autonomy. We already have a structure in society which manifests this global community, the tax brackets. The tax brackets are like a framework. And why we can't all work inside these frameworks in an autonomous function, I don't understand. I don't understand why we aren't able to supply people with money, with a wage. It's okay to call it a wage. A wage feels like we call things income. It's okay to use this word. It feels as though the concept of achieving something is a good thing. I think it's a good thing. When people have an income, it's a good thing. And the idea that we're trying to move people away from their jobs, like eliminate jobs, I also think is a bad thing, because people like their jobs. I don't want to take away anybody's job from them. People want to maintain their working status. I think they should be allowed to maintain their working status. I don't want to be the person to eliminate jobs from people and say, all of a sudden, well, your job is useless, you shouldn't have to do it. I don't think that's this is the thing now. Now all of a sudden you have basic income, so you don't really need this job. This job is stupid. Don't do this job anymore. I don't want to be the person who says that, because I don't think that's fair. People have been working all their lives, and they say it all the time. I've been working all my life. Well, okay, be a person who works all your life. If that's what you want to do, then it's your identity. And I think that's okay. People love their jobs. I love being a vocal teacher. I have been a vocal teacher all my life, and it worked hard to be a good vocal teacher. The mechanisms I had to use in order to learn to be a good vocal teacher, it took me a long time. I've been teaching for 21 years. That's a long time. I love teaching people how to sing. On the one hand, I don't want to be told that just because I'm a recipient of basic income, all of a sudden now, because I don't have to teach people how to sing, that I shouldn't teach people how to sing. I don't think that's fair. And people who want to be workers but still need to be able to support themselves in another way, I feel like they should be allowed to exist in this way. And I think it's okay to use basic income to modify the working structure. I think it's okay to be able to peel back the way we frame work. I think it's okay to modify what a work day looks like and what a work week looks like and how we manifest ourselves within work days and work weeks. I think it's okay to reestablish what vacation time looks like and what sick days look like. I think that basic income has more than one function, and that's because money has more than one function. Money is not just about consumerism. We don't just use it for the sake of buying stuff. And if we did, we would use it for more than just, okay, so now that we have a coin, we've got people who buy stuff, but who are the people who make the stuff we buy? What do we call those guys? Are they not workers? And do they not deserve to be compensated for that work?
Oh, exactly, Patricia. And sounds like basic income, the difference between basic income and the UBI, it sounds like basic income it captures more of the broad range and helps more people. And from my understanding, you're describing it really, really good. Thank you so much.